blogging. Why do we need to bother blogging in 2025? Isn't blogging dead? Hasn't blogging been dead for years and years now? No, it has not. It never died. It never went away. I get this a lot with blogging. People assume that blogging is dead or on its way out. They say no one reads blog posts anymore. Not true. Like I said, I've been getting this argument pretty much since I started, and yet I wouldn't be in business if blogging didn't get results for my clients or for me for that matter. I will share a couple success stories throughout this video about some of the benefits that blogging has done for me personally and my business, as well as for my clients. My favorite success stories for my very first client, it's how I got into this business. I was between jobs, a few years out of college, still trying to figure out some way to pay the bills. And found myself between jobs at one point, and my roommate at one point actually went to her dad. I don't know, but I suspect that she went to her dad and was like, I really need my roommate to keep paying rent, so can you please help out? He was awesome. He offered to give me stuff to do around his office at his law firm until I got back on my feet. And one of the things he needed was someone to write blog posts for his law firm. And he knew I had a strong writing background, so he offered me the gig. And I was like, "What? You'll pay me to write for you? I'll get like real money for this? Yes, yes, I will do that. Sign me up. What do I need to do?" I was thrilled to jump at that chance. So I did, and it went really well. I actually blogged for him for years, but it's to start out, I would write like 2 to 4 blog posts per month for him. And after 6 months, he came back to me and told me I had brought in $75,000 worth of business to his law firm just through the blog posts I was writing for him. And that was my first key that, like, oh, this is not busy work. This is not a favor he's doing for me. This is having a real tangible result for his business. So that was the light bulb going off. And that kind of started me, along with, other things like other people asking me to create content for them, right? That was certainly the catalyst for me to pursue this as a career. So and I continued to write for him up until he retired like 6 years later. So excellent, excellent. So yeah, for anyone who says no one reads blogs, it doesn't get any results. Yeah, it can get very, very real results. And not all of my clients have had that level of success. I don't want to set your expectations quite that high. But a number of my clients have had some good success. And like I said, I've had good success with my blogs. So let's talk about some of the benefits of blogging. Let's first address the elephant in the room. Is blogging dead? No. Google needs content to figure out who you are, what you're all about, right? If you have the standard 5-page website and you've just got the landing pages and you don't have anything else, it's a good start, but Google is going to ignore it after a while, especially if it doesn't see any new content. Google assumes that newer content is more relevant and more accurate than older content. So it's going to boost the newer content. And if it doesn't see any new content on your website, it's not going to rank you for any relevant searches. So you need the new content. A lot of the AI search engines are working the same way, right? They're especially for the informational blog post, the informational searches, what is this? What do I need to know about such and such? How does this work? They're all pulling from blog posts and articles. So that means you need to have a blog post and multiple blog posts and articles getting updated regularly in order to give them that content they need to figure out who you are, what you're all about. And as far as the AI search engines, right, soon, if not now, maybe soon is right now, because we are seeing people using Search GPT, right? So now it's all about how do you get the AI search to mention your brand. Say, well, this company over here was saying such and such. You should go check them out. Not only mention your brand, but now they are actually citing their sources, which is good to see. Hopefully that will prevent some of the misinformation we've seen ChatGPT disseminating. So boosting your SEO is the number one benefit of blogging. I always talk about this. I always talk about this with all my clients, to be honest. But SEO is always the first thing that comes up, is especially if I'm putting all this work into creating their landing pages and their sales pages and optimizing those for search engines, and then they don't have a blog. it's just not going to be as effective. So have a blog show up in searches. Building backlinks. I'm not going to get too much into backlinks and how to build them because I have a couple videos about that actually. So not getting into that here, but I will say just as a refresher, if you watch those, or as an explanation, if you have no idea what a backlink is, a backlink is when a website, a piece of content on a website links to another piece of content on another website. That's an external backlink. An internal backlink is when you link on your website, a page of your website to another piece of content on your own website. So for example, in my blog on this topic, I say, hey, I have a whole other blog post about backlinks. Here it is. You can go check it out. And I provide a link to another blog post that is also on my website. That is an internal backlink. Whereas when I use, let's say, Andy Crestodina as a resource and say, hey, here are the stats on blogging, or here's this particular stat on blogging, you should go check it out over on his website or Orbit Media, that is an external backlink. Both have SEO value. External backlinks have higher SEO value, although again, your mileage may vary, right? External backlinks are more valuable because it's external, right? Someone else saying, hey, this person is a resource. They're referring back to your information. So that is what Google likes to see, that other people think that you have valuable information and other people think that you're a resource. So back to benefits of blogging, right? So in order to get those juicy backlinks, we need what we call linkable assets, which means you can go to an editor of a website and say, hey, can you please give me a backlink? Just because they're going to be a lot less likely to do it than if you have a really juicy, high quality, optimized piece of content that is really full of value for their target audience and is relevant to their audience, and then say, hey, I just have this great piece of content. It's relevant to this other piece of content on your website. Thought you might want to know. They're going to be much more likely to link to that than they are to your sales page or your bio or your homepage, right? So having those backlinks and those linkable assets, that's where your blog is a huge source of linkable assets. So don't pass up that opportunity. And then once you've got the blog post, don't let that opportunity go to waste. So we've got that. Oh, and then internal backlinks. Like I said, they're not as juicy as the external backlinks, but there is value, especially if you have a lot of internal links to one particular piece of content. We call that a pillar content. When you've got a really long, rich, in-depth piece of content on a particular topic, you can then create other pieces of content that are a little bit shorter. They shouldn't be super short, right? They should still be at least 500 words, if not longer. But you've got those shorter pieces of content that are linking to the longer pieces of content. And you do that over and over and you get all those backlinks. First of all, that just naturally drives traffic to your website. Second of all, Google takes note. Google goes, oh, there's all these internal links to this one piece of content. This must be a really great piece of content. You can also, and you should also drive external backlinks to the pillar pieces of content. Really prioritize that pillar content when you are asking for backlinks because it should be the most valuable or one of the most valuable. You should have 3 to 4 pillar pieces of content on your blog. So prioritize those because that's going to be where that's going to be your most valuable content. So it's going to get the most bang for your buck, so to speak, when you get a backlink. All right, opportunities to repurpose blog posts are endless. So my favorite thing to recommend is that you create a video like this. It's rip the audio from the video, you put it up as a podcast episode, you transcribe the audio, you put it up as a blog post. Ta-da, you have 3 pieces of content. I am a writer, so I do it backwards. I like to write the blog post first, and then I use that as my notes for the video. So, but not everyone thinks that way. So the point is, you can use, you create one thing and suddenly by pushing a few buttons, you have 3 different pieces of content and it's totally fine that they're all about the same stuff because not everyone is going to read the blog post. They want to listen to the podcast or they want to watch the video. So don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. The other opportunities for repurposing your blog posts are sharing them. Share them in your newsletter, share them in your socials, right? If you are driving yourself crazy trying to figure out what to post on social media this week or what to put in your newsletter, try your blog. It doesn't have to be the only content that it should not be the only content that you share, but it should be prominently placed. So, and then that leads into my next benefit of blogging, which is more website traffic, right? If you are increasing your search rankings, you are showing up in searches and people are finding their way to your website. That increases traffic. Social media, it's a great way to, yes, you should use social media to build your audience and get in front of people. But you should ultimately convert those leads and you have to get them onto your website to do that. Don't let social media completely control your ability to communicate with your audience because that will not end well for you because that is not what social media is there for. It is there for social media companies to make money. So get them to your website. Again, that drives traffic and then you can convert them there. You can get them onto your newsletter. You can, get them to sign up for a webinar, whatever it is, so that you can continue putting content in front of them until they are ready to buy. Newsletter, right? You got to improve the click-through rate. Always enjoy putting out a blog post in my newsletter and again, driving people back to the website from that. And then again, backlinks, internal and external, right? If you have the internal backlinks, people are spending more time on your website. That's a good thing. External backlinks are not only great for SEO, they're also organically driving traffic from another website to your website. So that's another benefit of blogging. Building brand awareness. No one will buy from you if they don't know who you are. So you have to build brand awareness. Always the first and most important step in building your business, but it's easier said than done. Blogging, again, boosts SEO when you show up in searches. And certainly if you start showing up, if you can get those AI search engines to mention you and mention your brand, that's really it'll start to sink in. It's going to take more than one mention, but if people keep seeing, if they keep investigating and keep researching a topic and they keep seeing your brand come up over and over again, it'll sink in that you're the authority on that subject. Again, creating shareable content, getting those backlinks, not only is that great for SEO and driving traffic, but they are on a website. They already know and respect this person, right? Especially if they're subscribed to their blog or their newsletter or whatever. And now they're saying, hey, this brand over here is really cool and they have this great information on such and such. You should go check it out. That gets you so much credibility right off the bat because they already know, like, and trust this person and they're vouching for you. So get those external backlinks when you can. And again, organically drives traffic back to your website. And it positions you as an authority. The more content you create, the more high quality content that actually answers the questions people are asking, the more people will, again, once they know you, then they're going to start to seek you out. Lead generation and development. I love using blogs for lead generation and development. First of all, again, if people are looking for information and they find your website, and they got good information there and they like what they see and they subscribe for the newsletter and follow you on social media and all the things so you can keep pushing content in front of them, makes it so much easier to complete the sale. I actually had someone, it was the easiest sale I ever made because I think she attended one of my webinars and then signed up for my newsletter and followed the newsletter for a while. And then when she was ready to buy, she reached out. And it was the easiest sales call I ever had because she upsold herself by quoting something that I had had in one of my blog posts because she had been following my newsletter and reading my blog posts. I didn't have to try and explain to her, no, you need this and not this, and this is why. She already knew because my content had done all of that for her. Easiest call I've ever made. You can also actively use it in your sales call when you are working with leads. If someone asks you, if you're emailing back and forth and they ask you a question that you have answered again and again, and you cannot answer it one more time, it's okay because you have a blog post or a video that answers the question and you can provide a link to the blog post on your website. It makes you look so much more credible just having that article. Yes, they know it's your own website. Yes, they know that you can put whatever you want up there. But for some reason, something in our brain says, oh, it's published. Therefore, it must be credible. So absolutely take advantage of that. And then they're on your blog. That might lead them to read more blog posts and educate themselves further. And again, kind of sell themselves, right? The more they read your blog. And like I said, you don't have to worry about educating people when you've got that blog because If they looked at your blog and then they found you, they're already educated, they're already your people. If they come to you from wherever, they try to lecture you about blogging is dead because my uncle so and so said so. Well, okay, what does your uncle know? Is he in marketing at all? What, or is this just some random Joe Schmo who is talking about something he thinks he knows about, even when he doesn't, right? We've all dealt with those people who think they know better than we do, even though we're the experts. So blogging is actually a great way to get around that. Capturing leads in the early stages of the buyer journey, depending on how long your buyer journey is. My buyer journey can be a while. Like I said, I got that person on my newsletter and it was at least 6 months to a year before they finally became a client. So it can take a while, but boy, does it pay off. Because like I said, that sales call was super easy. Capturing them in the early stages of the buyer journey is really easy. First of all, because if you don't, someone else might. And then someone else is the authority and someone else is the person they reach out to when they're ready to hire. So by investing in your content now and getting those leads when they're first looking in the early stages. So these are people who are looking for things like what is such and such and how does this work and what do I need to know about XYZ, right? Those are informational topics. People are not usually ready to buy yet, but if you can capture those leads when they're just starting to look and then get their email address, get them to sign up for a webinar, get them to follow you on social media, then you can keep pushing content in front of them until they are ready to buy. And then they'll buy from you because who else would they buy from? You're the one that is always on their social media feed and in their inbox and giving them all this great information. Of course, they're going to reach out to you. Building relationships. So blogging, I don't think a lot of people think of blogging when they think of building relationships or vice versa, but it's actually really great because if you think about it, you show up every week, every other week, every month, however often you're blogging. If you show up consistently, that makes you predictable in a good way. We like what we can predict because that is safe. If something is all over the place, we're a little more on edge because we don't really know what to expect. If we know what to expect from you, we're going to feel safe with you. We're going to be more likely to like you and trust you. And then we're going to be more likely to work with you. Also, if you're just giving out juicy, awesome information, again, every week or month or whatever, for free, like who doesn't like that? Of course, you are providing value and asking nothing in return except maybe an email address, right? Okay, it's worth it to give you their email address because again, you're giving them all this awesome information. So don't discount the power of building relationships. Oh, and if you have a comment section on your blog, first of all, the way I do it on my blog is I only allow it for 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to leave a comment on my blog post, and then that's it. It's cut off because I've been spammed. So yes, there's a lot of spammy comments going around. You have to look out for those. But every once in a while, you get a real life person who leaves a valuable comment. Don't be afraid to respond as quickly as possible. Jump on there and say, hey, I'm glad you love this. Or, yeah, I know it's a common question. Here's what else you need to know, right? Actually respond to the comment. That's going to do a lot to build trust. And again, get people to like you. I cannot tell you how many times people have DM'd me on social media or actually sent me an email saying, hey, I saw your blog on such and such. It was awesome. Thanks so much. That feels so good. So don't discount blogging when it comes to building relationships. Engages leads. According to research, 47% of buyers look at 3 to 5 pieces of content before reaching out for a consultation or a sales call or filling out a form or, whatever that is. They're looking for more information to get a better idea of who you are and what you're all about before they reach out. And they're going to go straight to your blog for that. I cannot tell you how many times I've met someone at a networking event and then we have a one-on-one and in the one-on-one they say, oh, hey, I was looking at your blog, right? Because of course they wanted to check me out. They wanted to know exactly who I am, what I do, what I'm all about. So of course they went straight to my blog to get that information. Educating your prospects, we talked about. That's it. That is all the benefits of blogging that I can think of. I'm sure there are some that I missed. If you have any other questions, if you can think of any benefits that I forgot to mention, please let me know. You can get more information like this on my blog at AV, as in my initials, Allison Verhalen. That is avwritingservices.com. And you can reach me directly by sending me an email at info@avwritingservices.com. That's it. Have a great week and happy blogging, everyone.